have to say your
You can choose to either stay or leave.
yeah. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I have to go through all the formality again as it is recorded and it will be placed online. This project and this event today is the second in the series. We are responding to the contemporary turn, participatory and decolonization. In the participatory, we are looking towards developing an open society where ownership can be shared, there's dialogue and reciprocity in brief. And in decolonization, we are looking at our history, our structures, our education system to see what we can do in relation to context and also to local knowledge. And in this way, I personally apply artistic research as another alternative towards author centricities, text and academia. In this way, the academia texts are mostly Western based. So we are looking at local qualitative context and how local context can engage universality, their values, and also the dynamic of our practice with theories to develop a critical praxis. And where are we looking to apply this? At the moment, we are looking at application in the real world situation, in the everyday. So within this macro level, we are looking at individual cognitive bias selection, where nationalism ideology play an important role. Like we have spoken in the last session, where our speaker Di Chen Kang and Susanna Helmers brought out how their engagement with individuals who are from another society, another culture, and how difficult was it to engage them, to develop trust in order to discuss critical and sensitive issues in religion, in ideology. But there are, of course, many levels. When we build trust individually, it doesn't mean that it's an easy ride because there are other power relationships that come into place, such as group dynamic. You may have trust with a single person, but when we are working together as a group, then it may be a problem. Because in a group, there are other voices that the individual has to take into consideration. And it's also in this everyday that we are working with that we are concerned. So and the other speaker from Mongolia, she discussed about corruption that permeate every structure in the Mongolian society. And she has engaged with NGOs, young people to discuss this issue. We are interested, of course, to engage all these conversations subsequently today with longer hours as requested, but also in our next session in a week time. So talking about the everyday, this is exactly what our first speaker Irene from Hong Kong will speak about, followed by Khin, Thehtar, Latt from Yangon, and Dominique, Lämmli from Zurich. So Irene will start, and she discussed about the Kai Phong. Kai Phong is a Cantonese word. If you have direct translation, it's about the space of the streets, but the real meaning is that these are the people you meet on the street every day, how you engage with them. You know them visually, you recognize them by their face, but most of the time you don't even know their name if you have no contact with them. But they who you see every day become your immediate neighborhood, immediate people you interact with. And it's within this community and Kai Phong in the everyday, Irene from Hong Kong, who has been working over a few years, coming from another discipline. She engaged as a community worker, community artist, and she also hope to engage with them in different levels in order to face the contemporary issue in Hong Kong today. So Irene will be speaking in Cantonese. So we will do translation slowly. Everyone will help. A few of us understand the language. So let's hope we do a good job about that. Irene, are you okay? Irene, can you take over?
You mute my speaker, so I'm okay to speak now.
Yeah, your co-host, you can demute it now anytime because you are all co-hosts. Nora and Dominic, you are all assigned as co-hosts.
Jay, for some reason, the live stream has dropped.
Okay, technical issue. Oh yeah, live stream is showing something else. Huh? Let me check the live stream again. It's still on, but so it's connecting now. Okay, coming back again. Okay, Irene, are you okay?
Okay. Hello， 大家好，我係 Irene。我之前喺未參與呢個社區藝術或者係社區工作之前咧，我係喺商業機構度做嘅。咁我喺2012年開始就冇做商業機構，就去咗有一個 brand 咧叫做 Oh Yes Is Free 嘅，即係一啲sharing 嘅平台嚟嘅。咁就入邊有一個 event 就識到一個叫 Friend Ma 嘅人士。
Irene, translation. Irene came in 2012 from a commercial background. I'm going to cut it short, and she come into contact with grandma, I think, from Shanghai Art Space, working.
活化廳
Yeah, in Shanghai Art Space in Wolfentan, and she she came to know her, and then she come into this area of community art.
咁我第一次去陣時咧，係阿 Friend Ma 佢有一個 event 係搞個派食物俾一啲露宿者或者係低收入人士嘅。咁之後亦都有機會，我就開始同阿 Friend Ma connect 咗之後咧，我就有機會經常都會禮拜六日啊，或者係一個禮拜去2-3次咧，去到活化廳嗰度咧，咁就認識咗阿 Jasper 同埋阿峰嘅。
So grandma was actually distributing a lot of food and distributing resource to the community.
The low income group.
And then start to know meet Jasper and 阿峰李俊峰。咁有一日咧，咁就阿峰咧就問我同阿 Friend Ma 就睇下邊個有去睇下可以過嚟星期日做下 helper 幫下手嘅。咁我就 我就舉手，我就話我有時間我可以試下過嚟，咁就開始咗我喺活化廳做helper 嘅日子啦。
So one day, Fong asked Grandma and Irene whether anyone can volunteer as a helper every Sunday at Work 10, and Irene volunteered. She started doing that.
咁之後咧，咁我就唔係去幾日啦，我就已經係因為我本身冇嘢做噶嘛，嗰陣時間我仲係諗緊我個方向嘅，咁我就多咗次數去活化廳之後咧，我就發覺我真係對呢個社區藝術啊，同埋呢個油麻地呢個社區咧就好想去再深入啲去做一啲嘢咯。咁就之後有啲藝術家咧，馬來西亞藝術家同埋以色列藝術家咧都嚟咗，咁我哋一路我就真係真正咁接觸社區藝術同埋真正係連接咗街坊咯。
Okay, so at that time, Irene was not doing any full-time work because she was still thinking about the direction that she wants to go into. And because of the frequency of her being involved at Wolfer 10, she felt that she became very comfortable and interested in community art. And then together with some Malaysian artists who came to Hong Kong, she became very immersed into community art.
係咁之後咧，咁一路參與活動啦，咁亦都活化廳同埋阿峰咧都俾咗機會我咧，我有時有啲 workshop 咧我都會參與
嘅。So all along, Wolfer 10 gave her a lot of opportunity to participate, including in workshops.
係咁之後咧，我就開始咧就接觸活化廳周邊嘅唔同嘅街坊啦。咁亦都有時咧，我哋就我係自己會係做 workshop 嗰個教嗰個人嘅，譬如好似剪紙啊，同埋呢個我哋寫揮春啊，我都會有參加嘅。咁到去到後期咧，活化廳咧就需要 return 翻俾呢個 ADC 啦。咁我哋嗰段時間咧，我就一路都喺度啦。咁之後就直至到我哋留守完嘅最後一個 moment，我都喺度。咁 咁我亦都帶咗我個仔咧，參加埋活化廳嗰啲helper 幫手嘅。
So she also began to conduct workshops with the Gai Fong, and that include paper cutting workshop. Irene, I don't understand what's the other workshop you did. Paper cutting and what?
Calligraphy.
Calligraphy, okay. And then there came a time when Wolverton had to be returned to ADC. What is ADC, Irene?
香港藝術發展局。
So it's a Hong Kong Art Development Council.
Art Development Council.
Yeah. So at the last moment, she also brought her son to come and began to be involved as a helper at Wolverton.
咁之後就活化廳佢最後都係 return 翻俾藝發局啦。咁我哋喺 return 之前咧，其實咧就有個街坊咧叫做阿樂嘅，係佢有介紹過一啲排檔俾我哋認識嘅。
So in the end, Wolverton had to be returned. But before the return, there is someone from the neighborhood called Alok who introduced them to some street stalls.
係，咁我咧就嗰陣時，我哋同阿 Michael 啊、同阿樂啊、同阿峰佢哋有睇過嗰個排檔嘅。咁之後咧，我哋阿 Michael 咧，另外一個藝術家咧，佢就租咗個排檔嘅，咁就我哋就組織咗叫咗一個叫街坊排檔嘅。咁呢個係一個 group 嚟嘅，就唔係我私人擁有嘅，唔係我私人參與。
Okay, so there's a group of them, including Michael and a Hong Kong artist, who rented a stall, and they started to call the stall Gai Fong stall.
街坊排檔 ，and then 之後咧，咁我就因為之前阿樂介紹嗰個排檔咧，嗰個空間咧就比個價錢係比較平啲嘅，需要用嘅價錢比較平啲，咁我就另外租咗嗰個排檔咧，就叫做鴻記好排檔啦。
So the one that Alok recommended was a cheaper stall, but then there's another one that Irene herself rented later on that's called, what's that, sorry?
鴻記 second one in the presentation.
鴻記 good 排檔 yes.
係，咁之後咧，咁我就因為鴻記好嗰陣時，初我就未知道個方向點樣做嘅，咁我就用翻活化廳之前一個賣嗰個麵粉袋嘅婆婆嘅製造咧，就喺嗰度賣，同埋一個黑膠碟街坊收藏家，咁亦都係將佢啲 product 咧喺嗰個鴻記好度賣。咁亦都帶咗一啲喺一啲 sharing group 入邊，有啲人免費 sharing 嘅，喺嗰度免費派俾啲人。
So initially, she would sell goods that are produced by the grandma. Is that correct, Irene? Is it handicraft or?
Handmade craft.
Handmade craft, yes, okay. And also records, vinyl records, right? Collected. And then there's also some sharing sessions conducted at the stall.
Yes. 咁之後咧就都有喺鴻記好嗰度咧就做一啲活動嘅，就譬如話好似新年嗰陣時咧，我就帶咗啲糖果去，咁就俾一啲公公咧抱住個細路仔咧就掟，用個羽毛球啊掟個紙碟嘅，不過呢個比較難翻譯。即係做啲簡單嘅趣味性活動啦，咁亦都有做社區播映，俾一啲中意喺社區播映電影嘅人借用我個空間。
Okay, so she started doing some activities as well. For example, bringing some sweets, Chinese New Year sweets to be shared, and having some simple games for the neighbors to play, and also for those who want to do open air film screening. Is that correct, Irene? Yes.
Yeah, correct. 咁之後咧，我都同嗰啲街坊咧就開始咧就有呢個互動啦，咁就開始咧就聽佢哋嘅 生活嘅啦。咁佢哋就每一日咧，佢哋其實都會嚟一嚟我嗰個排檔嗰度咧，就揾一揾我，同我 say hello 嘅。因為佢哋平時咧，佢哋都會間唔中落街咧，都係會行幾個鐘先翻屋企，因為屋企好悶。咁我開始咧就同佢哋有寫少少佢哋嘅古仔嘅喺我本筆記簿度。
So after a while, she became a regular feature at the neighborhood, and quite a few of the elderly people, they would always drop by to say hello to her, and she began listening to their stories. And because a lot of them, they're bored at home, so they would spend something like 2 hours in the streets every time they go out, and she started recording their stories.
係咁之後咧就我亦都有啲有心人咧，佢都覺得咧我嗰個排檔咧都係可以做啲食物分享嘅。咁我亦都俾嗰啲有心人咧喺嗰度派食物俾佢咯。咁係分一啲特別嘅節日啦，好似中秋節啊、端午節啊，咁我哋都會有嘅。
So there are also some groups of people with a very good intention who use her space to share food and distribute food to the neighborhood.
咁去到之後咧，咁就開始有呢個讚善理家作館啦。咁點解會有讚善理家作館咧？就因為嗰陣時我租嗰層樓咧，就嗰個業主就加租加我好多，咁我就喺個 Facebook 咧就問啲朋友有冇人可以租一個地方俾我。
So okay, Irene, the rent rose up, yes, and then what developed? I don't understand that. Is that an association that you form?
嗱，我係喺嗰個租樓嗰度，我係要俾租嘛，咁佢有個業主咧就加我好多，咁之後咧我就喺個 Facebook， 即係喺嗰個臉書度啊 ，Facebook 啊，問嗰啲人。
She asked whether anyone has a space to rent.
係啊，係啊。
Yes.
OK 啊。
Okay. Yes. Okay.
OK。咁之後咧就而家呢個地方讚善理家作館呢個業主咧就咁巧佢就話可以租俾我，咁睇我有冇興趣租咗呢個 space 去用。咁之前係一間 gallery 嚟嘅。
Okay, so there is someone who offered a space that was previously a gallery. And what is the name of the building?
The building is a 唐樓, so actually it's just in a 太原樓.
太原樓, okay, yeah.
Around 50 plus years, and located in behind 大館, 喺大館嘅後邊。
Okay, what is 大館? Sorry.
The history landmark that before is a prison, and
yes. Okay. So it's behind Taikwan, what we call Taikwan. Yeah, it used to be a prison.
Yes.
In the center of Hong Kong. Yes.
And then 之後我係講翻中文之後咧就咁我開頭住入去陣時咧，我都未有方向咧係做啲乜嘢嘅，咁我就初咧我係會俾一啲 artist 咧去擺一啲展覽嘅，咁擺完展覽之後咧就發覺門口一個地方咧其實就好似可以做其他嘢，咁我就開始就擺咗個書櫃就做飄書。
Okay, so when she moved into this unit, she didn't have a specific idea what to do. So she started to allow artists to show their works there, to make exhibitions. And then she realized that at the front of the unit, there is a space where she could make use of to put some bookshelves and to share some books.
係啦，咁我就開始咗飄書呢樣嘢啦。咁初咧，大部分嘅書咧都係我自己或者係喺某啲地方度攞過嚟嘅。咁去到而家差唔多有5年啦。 咁就而家啲書大部分都係人係喺全香港唔同地點度咧送過嚟咯，就唔係淨係喺附近嗰啲街坊咯。
So she started the book sharing project initially with the books that she herself personally owned. But then after 5 years now of the project's running, she gets books from people from all over Hong Kong who sends them over to her.
咁亦都因為個地點個問題咧，咁亦都可以幫到紅記好，即係嗰個我嗰個 resources 個 sharing 嗰個排檔咧，就做一個收集點。
Okay, so also because of the location, her stall, that is the HongKong Good stall, started becoming a donation center as well, where people could go there and drop off things.
係啦，咁其實最主要咧，而家即係行咗咁耐呢兩間嗰個 space 咧，其實因為呢個 COVID-19 咧，就令到好多嘢都突然之間起咗好多唔同嘅變化。
So while these two spaces are running, with the advent of COVID-19, it has brought about a lot of changes.
係啦，好似譬如話喺紅記號咁咧，佢而家好多人咧就會問有冇口罩可以到啊，又或者係有佢哋有時唔知道網上咧，原來邊層樓係會有確診者嘅，因為油麻地其實喺前一段時間咧係好嚴峻嘅，嗰啲確診嘅大廈咧係好多嘅。
So, for example, at the HongKong Good, people started asking whether there is face masks that they can collect, and also to know information about which areas has higher incidences.
咁亦都
係
correct。咁因為咁樣咧，佢哋嘅生活咧就而家係變得上係好緊張嘅。我而家係大部分嘅時間咧都係一個係變咗係一個精神上同埋物資上，希望係幫到佢哋放鬆佢哋個心情喺呢個 COVID-19 入邊。
Can you hold on a minute? The live stream dropped again.
OK。天啊！呢個太粗啦，到佢哋
for some kind of emotional support for the community.
係啊。咁暫時
Wait, live stream dropped.
OK。
Do you now hear what I say?
No, I didn't. I think we can maybe share the recording later because we're recording the session.
Okay, but okay, you carry on. Okay.
Carry on. OK。咁而嗰個暫時你嗰個飄書嗰方面咧，又因為之前有香港一個個案咧，就係話有啲書咧，嗰啲佛堂嗰啲書咧，人揭過之後咧，就會傳染到個 COVID-19 俾其他人，所以我喺嗰個飄書嗰度咧，我個飄書站嗰度，我係每日咧，我係啲消毒嘅需要，就避免大家有呢個情況出現，同埋都希望大家係嚟之前之後都可以做嗰個消毒咯。
So, in terms of the book sharing, because there's concern that the COVID virus might be spread that way, from contact with the books. So she had to do quite a bit of disinfection before and after contact with visitors.
咁除咗固定之外，咁我仲有其實喺街道上咧，我係有好多 pop up 嘅唔係叫 event 嘅，叫 activities。譬如話就喺條街嗰度，我會係喺上環啊或者西環嗰度咧，我係會播戲啊，或者係有時會寫書法啊。咁 亦都會好似之前活化廳其實有一個叫活化墟嘅，咁就擺攤檔仔，就俾啲人可以講佢個故事啊，同坐喺度係一個聚會嘅形式，就唔係真係賣嘢嘅，賣唔到幾多錢嘅。
Okay, so she would be doing different kinds of activities. For example, having the Kaifong Theatre, or even allowing people from the neighborhood to just come and is it sell the things? Although it's not for much money, but it's just to be able to, you know, almost like exchange things with other people.
And a way of gathering and communication.
Yeah, it's just the primary intention would be for gathering and having exchanges with each other.
咁其實咧，我做咁多呢類型嘅活動咧，我即係我係每日都做嘅。我覺得每一日做咧，就嗰個係真係可以好貼近街坊嘅生活，同埋咧有時我都唔好似飄書咁，我有時我唔會話出去同佢哋傾偈嘅。咁我都希望咧喺一啲我哋嘅 activity 嗰度咧，嗰啲人咧係可以有去個 thinking 去諗點解有人會咁樣做。咁因為香港其實就係好少人係將一個地鋪或者係一個商業地方就係做一啲我哋所謂嘅社區藝術嘅嘢，係完全係自費嘅。生活係咪一定要工作？生活係嗰個商店係咪一定要係商業用咧？咁等人哋去有反思咯。
So she does her activities every day. It's on a daily basis because she wants to remain very close to the neighbors. And even with her book sharing and all that, sometimes she doesn't say too much, but what she's hoping is that through what she's doing, people can see and begin to think for themselves what is the meaning of life? Is life all about work? And why does a commercial stall can do this kind of more like neighborhood activities instead of a profit-making activity?
咁我所以咧，我最拉尾嗰頁嗰個 presentation 嗰度咧，其實就講咗我希望做嘅嘢嘅。咁我就唔會仲有係我仲有啲sorry， 我諗呢個冇翻譯，翻譯後我而家呢段啦，我仲有參加一啲 concern group 嘅。咁我亦都去做一啲抗議或者係遊行嘅。
Okay, she also joins a few concern group and takes part in demonstrations and protests.
係，咁就會係用唔同嘅 identity 去接觸唔同嘅人。
So using different identity to be close to different people.
係，咁就最拉尾嗰個咧，就係我本身我所有嘅而家嘅 activity 咧，都係我自己 self funding 嘅。咁係自己有做一啲 part time job 啦，又或者有做一啲社區嘅活動，去賺一啲 allowance 去維持到我而家嘅租金同埋一啲 activities 嘅 expenses。咁但係咧。
So all her activities are self-funded, although she does take on some part-time work and also some social work in order to get some allowance in order to help her with her rent and other expenses.
係，因為我覺得咧，我唔希望我自己本身就唔好希望喺嗰個 activity 同埋一啲做嘅 work 入邊咧有呢個dollar sign involve 喺入邊。咁我做起上嚟咧，咁其實咧就唔攞分定嘅情況之下咧，係更加靈活嘅。不過自己就當然有啲壓力啦。不過我都係覺得係一個我嘅嗜好，我喜愛嘅嘢，我係會希望長久而去做咯。所以我啲 project 咧，好似而家紅記好或者係暫時你家作館咁咧，其實我都係希望每一個都可以起碼做10年嘅。
So she's hoping not to involve any money exchange or dollar sign in the activities that she does, because she would like to really, out of her interest and her good intention, really want to be very motivated by the work in that way. And she hopes to be able to do them in the long run, for example, even 10 years.
係啊，因為我喺唔同嘅 group 入邊咧，都經歷過要攞 funding 啊，同埋要寫 proposal 呢啲咁嘅過程嘅。咁我深深領會到咧，其實好多時佢哋嗰啲 project 或者係嗰啲event 咧，嗰啲 funder 咧，其實好多時咧都係咩坑人啊，result 咧，淨係通常都係要做展覽啊，就唔係真係有啲好空泛嘅嘢咯。其實社區藝咧好多時就係最關鍵，就係人同人之間個感受，人同人之間嘅溝通。
So she has in the past experienced situations where the groups had to apply for funding, and usually there's always some strings attached by the funder. For example, they want a specific outcome or an exhibition. So for her, the most important thing is actually that person-to-person contact and the person-to-person exchange.
咁我而家我都係想做好多唔同實驗性嘅嘢嘅。咁我亦都希望咧可以有更多嘅嘢係點講咧？唔係話自己想像到嘅，唔想像到嘅，有人會過嚟揾我嘅，之後我又覺得 OK 嘅，咁我就會go ahead做嘅。我暫時唔想 limit 任何一個可能性，因為我覺得我哋而家做緊嘅嘢只係一啲 past 嘅嘢，一個新嘅嗰個 mind 新嘅方向咧，係一定係有啲嘢係突然之間係會 go with the flow 嘅，你係唔會 expect 到嘅。咁我覺得呢啲係唔係創新，係希望係將呢個我哋點講咧？以往一般我哋嘅 habit 去改變咯，即係我哋係應該要做多一啲行前多一步。好似阿 friend 媽講，一人做啲，一人做多啲，咁就世界就會唔同㗎啦。
Okay, so for her, the process is much more important than the outcome. And, her mindset is that she's really very open to experimentation, and she's hoping that people will come to her with proposals and suggestions that's out of her expectation. She would like to be surprised. She doesn't want to determine the possibilities, but to go with the flow so that new possibilities can emerge. And for her, this is not about innovation, but this is using our past habits in order to change and to move forward, to step forward, to find new possibilities. And for example, like what Grandma say, if everybody were to move one step forward, Irene 你講多一次 ，Grandma 係話我哋如果每個人都係行一步，
係
and then what is the 之後個世界
會變得更好。
Oh, so everything will become better. So yeah.
係咁，我完畢啦。Thank you.
Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. I understand how difficult it is to work in Hong Kong, one of the most expensive cities in the world, and you don't want anything to do with money. Very brave of you.
Yeah, very brave. But now I'm sustainable. I no need to do many part-time job. Only 1 or 2 is enough for me to sustain. Because I have some very good guy fund and a funder, personal funder, private funder. They support me.
Okay. So does anyone have a question for Irene? You can just remote your microphone and ask the question.
Maybe I start. Hello, thank you, Irene, very much for this great talk. already know a lot about your work, but every time it's amazing to hear it again, and you always open up new angles and perspectives. And I just would go to one question. You said to work with the community, you are changing identities. So you work with multiple identities to connect with people. Could you say a bit more about that, please?
And in the 5-10 period, I be a teacher for some kindergarten kids, and also I do a part-time job in a gallery for opening doors and close. And also I do some restaurant part-time before with Michael in Aberdeen, and I also be the event facilitator for doing some kids sporty event or some book reading event, and even some STEM event. So that is I try to minimize my expenses. So now it's almost sustainable, and I'm trying to do more different identity too, like be a babysitter, maybe sometime later, 1 or 2 hours, or delivery, the take out deliver, and what else? I can be a lot of it. When it has chance, I will try to do something else. But of course, I will try to do things that can connect people, and will be definitely a advantage for doing a part time, because I'm not really want to have single purpose. I want to have multiple purpose.
Yeah, Dominique, I think perhaps the understanding of that term identity, perhaps the more accurate translation might be role, that she takes on different roles in order to contact different people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the reason that I asked about this is you've been mentioning this as well, Irene. Our world, we have a lot of different views and experiences. And so every instance, every space, every time in space, it's always particular. It's always specific. It's always different to any other ones. And also the people we work with. So, yeah. So that's what I was interested, because that's also how I experienced you, as someone who's very context sensitive, and you correspond to who you work with.
Actually, I love to do the public space very much, instead of using some fixed space. Public space or borrow. I have some friends have some shop. They allow me to pop up something. Definitely go over there.
Okay. Is there any question? Otherwise, we move on to the next speaker.
Irene，我想請問下你，
你先講中
係啊，
你廣府人嚟㗎。
I will ask in Cantonese first. Okay, I just want to ask how is the response of the book sharing? 因為我呢度其實都有做緊呢啲飄書嘅活動啦，但係其實我覺得飄書因為整體嘅閱讀風氣係越來越差咯，唔知你嗰邊嘅飄書活動嘅反應係點，同埋佢係咪真係可以連結到街坊？
呢度嘅我而家做緊嗰個飄書站，啱啱因為佢嗰個位置係非常之好，所以有好多住喺半山咧，即係好人，佢哋都會行我嗰度擺低啲書俾我，或者甚至佢夜晚黑會揸架豪華車咁落嚟擺低啲書俾我，咁同埋好多人都開始知道我嗰邊係有好多英文書啊，外國語文書啊，同埋我比較 規模少少嘅標書站嗰個有3-4個櫃嘅，咁就同埋每一日咧都有好多人嚟攞書，同埋我每一日咧都係會擺幾十本書出去嘅，所以個反應係好好嘅。咁而家係有啲人係排緊隊攞書過嚟咯，亦都有啲人係等我有啲書攞出去咯。咁而家香港都係有個問題嘅，閱讀風氣咧差啲嘅，但係我都同一啲，因為其實我哥哥本身係一個作家嚟嘅，咁我都希望咧有啲作家嗰啲書咧可以帶俾一啲人可以有啲高水準啲嘅文化背景咯，即係因為咧而家喺我哋個香港嘅書店入邊買嘅書咧，大部分都係已經係我哋叫過濾過嘅，個書個種類係好少嘅。咁但係如果我而家飄緊嗰啲書咧，有好多人咧都係可能講緊70年代、80年代啲書，其實嗰陣時啲書係好好啦。有啲外國人咧，佢哋唔係攞香港嘅書俾我嘅，佢可能佢去 travel 嗰陣時咧，去旅行嗰陣時，佢哋有啲書係會喺飛機度睇嘅，咁嗰啲書喺香港冇得賣嘅都，咁所以嗰個 range 又大咯，所以人又好多，其他人聽唔明。
I will do a translation. So Kang is asking, was asking Irene, how effective is it to use book sharing as a way to contact with the community? Because in Malaysia, he also does some book sharing, but he finds that overall the general reading habit has gone down. So he's asking whether in Hong Kong that's a good approach. And Irene's response is that because of her location in the center of central Hong Kong, so she's got quite a lot of people from the mid-territories who come and drop off books with her. And because a lot of these books are English books, and also they are, like, for example, business books, or they travel overseas and they brought the books back. So a lot of them cannot be found in the bookstores in Hong Kong, because the bookstores in Hong Kong tend now to sell only best-selling topics, and not a very broad or wide range of topics like we could find in the 70s and 80s in Hong Kong, and also especially books by Hong Kong authors. And her brother is an author in Hong Kong, so she's hoping to bring this kind of books to the public. And from her experience, it's quite a very good response, because there are people waiting in line to drop off books to her, and people waiting in line to pick up books from her.
I think we should go to the next speaker. The next speaker is Thehtar from Yangon, aka Nora. I hope today is okay, because last week there was a power cut in Yangon, so some audience was not able to join us. She is a native from Dawei in south of Myanmar, but she moved to Yangon to pursue her artistic career, filmmaker, performance artist. Nora, are you ready to share? So if she cannot share...
Yes, I can share.
Yeah. Okay, please share it, and then...
Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can I start now?
Yes, please start, Nora.
Okay. So hi everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nora. Can I hear you, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
because of it's raining. So it's raining in here. So I was wondering, I would like to introduce brief background about me, because it's really related what's happening in Myanmar and like what I'm doing now. So I was born in 1990. In 2010, I start explore, what is art, what is like a new art in Myanmar. So like I start as a performer artist in 2010. So like as you know, maybe some of you know, I'm from Myanmar. Myanmar was ruled by military government almost 60 years. So like the way we grow up, the way we used to talk about like our generation, especially our generation, we are like a broken generation. Like so, like there's a lot of things happen. There's a no good education, no freedom of speech. We don't even know, what is freedom of expression. Our dream is very limited. That is how we grow up at the time. So when in 2010 in Myanmar, in 2010, that was the first democratic election to did to democracy. So at the time I was start exploring okay, what is the art I'm so much. I really like performance art because of this is very good channel to express to express yourself, your pride, like. So and then by practicing performance art, I realized that, oh my god, there's a lot of block, because of the social, because of your gender, because of the way you grew up, so I was learning along. So also in 2010, the country start open to the world, before our country is very lonely. It's so difficult, to get the information. It's so difficult to go outside, it's very blocked. There's a lot of sanction is there as well. So in 2010, when that election, when that transition period, the country opened to the world. So and then there's a lot of opportunity come to the Myanmar. Especially in art society, and also CSO, civil society. There's a lot of NGO come. So there's a lot of a very interesting thing happened in 2010. So and then at the same time I was exploring I thought a performance is very new for me, new for so we was as a young person, we were so excited and to explore it. So most of my hour is really related with. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hello.
Yes, we hear you very well.
Yes,
It's
yes.
so
Yes, we can
noisy,
hear you
right?
now. Yes,
Hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, I will take a place. It's raining outside there. So.
We can't hear it.
Yeah, we can't hear the raining. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes,
Sorry,
it's clear to hear you. Nora.
Sorry. Okay. So where am I now? Okay. So most of my hour is really related with what's happening in Myanmar, because of my background, as my manager, I work in INGO, Danish INGO. So that's I got a chance to touch a lot of social issues, because of my job nature. I have to explore, I have to understand about what is happening in Myanmar, or what's wrong with this society or something like that. So I got the raw material from that experience, and then most of my hours reflect reflect my society from my perspective. So in 2015, now when I look at my old artwork, that was my first photo project. This is the prison uniform. This is the white is the prison uniform, but the a white shirt is for education, we wear the white shirt and green longi, green skirt. Is this school uniform? So I use as a metaphor is like as a prison uniform to reflect the how how we were suffer under the military government, how we lost our education, how we grew up. So I question about the generational issue. So because of we have almost 60-year civil war, and also and then there's a lot of misunderstanding, not misunderstanding. There's a lot of discrimination, intent or ethnic. So it's so complex. And then we all are traumatized. We all are a generational traumatized. So that's I was questioning okay, what would be the next generation look like, you know? So that was my first photo project. So this is the 88 generation. The oldest is the 88 generation, and then our generation, and then next generation. So I was questioning about that way, how would it look like? So, and then in my job, this is my first documentary about gay men. So gay is the a very we have a homophobia in our society. You know, if you are a internal religions, you know, we have a religious conflict, we have a phobia about that. Like for example, like Islamophobia or something like that. So also this is the because I would like to mention this documentary because this is also one of my turning point. You know, I realized that there's a lot of phobia within the society, not internal, not only in personal level, but also a society, and also. So this is my first documentary about gay. I interview him, and when I learn about his journey, when I learn about how he was struggling. So since at that time, you know, I was questioning and thinking about the identity and what is the being human, who is the real human or something like that. So that was my first documentary, and I got I got an experience life changing. I changed my perspective on the society after I finished this project. The way I see and the way I assume that LGBT community is quite different. So and then I fall in love with making the documentary. This is another documentary about slant people. So in 2008, we have we had a Nagit cyclone. So there's a million of people die in that cyclone. So you know, it's difficult to survive in that area. So most of the people slowly move to the Yangon, and then they live as a slant in Daya, countryside industrial place in Yangon. So I got a chance to meet with them, you know, in our community. We assume that when we talk about the slant people, we assume that they would like to get a place. They would like to get a place for free. They occupy other people's place, and they would like to get a place free, something like that. We may understand, and we really look down on that community. And then when I got a chance to shoot this documentary about them, I learned about Nagit cyclone. So there's a lot of people are dying, and after 10 years later, their life is they cannot restart again. You know, most of them are living as a slant in Yangon. So there's no security plan at all. There's no if something happen in my country, you know, there's no backup plan, you know, so this is another documentary. So I got a chance to travel Rakhine State a lot, sometime because of my job, and then I learned about the conflict, about the Rohingya, and about between the Rakhine, and also I mentioned before, by learning learning all of these programs, I questioning myself a lot, like who is human, what is the characteristic of being the human, because it's so complex situation. So this is our country map. We have a 7 division and 7 states, and then we have the 60 years of civil war, and we have a natural resource, very rich natural resource, but people are very poor. So in this project, I'm questioning about my society at the time, about how is our identity, because of when I was born in Delaware, I grew in Yangon. So it's for me, it's just so difficult for now. It's so difficult to tell I'm a Delaware, because I'm not Delaware anymore. So in our generation, there's a lot of migrant, domestic migrant, there's a lot of domestic migrant traveling around and walking around, especially if you would like to get a good education, you came to the Yangon and you find opportunity or to do so or something like that. So I'm looking for my root, what is my root, what is being being the way or something like that. So during this time, the most of the time I'm exploring, questioning, refreshing about myself mostly. So so it's almost 10 years. Yeah, I'm exploring social issue a lot, and then I'm tired of it. The more you try to understand, the more it made you very tired. So and then I decided, okay, no more social issue and no more questioning and no more okay, I'm finished with that, and then I'm start doing the experimental thing, to find another dimension. I would like to change my energy, sometimes exploring social issue is sometimes it's too much, so and then I decided, okay, I will do more experimental work, and I will do that. But sadly, in February 1st, the coup happened in Myanmar. So you cannot escape from social and political again. So during the quarantine, because I decided, okay, I'm finished with politics, I'm finished with social, and then I'm doing a experimental photo shooting during the quarantine time. But when the coup happened, so we have to do something to respond, to resist. So so and then me, and including me and other friends, we discuss and we start doing a campaign. We start doing the different kind of campaign. So again, I'm in the a social and political issue again, because I'm from Myanmar, I'm a girl, and then doing this performance art, wherever you go, people interested about the politics wherever you go, not because of who you are, but because of you come from the third country, you come from the Myanmar, you come from you're being the girl. So they interest me because of that. I'm not sure they care about my artwork or not. So I did this the social and a politics project because of that is who I am. But wherever I go outside, whatever, I met people, they only interest me because of if I'm doing the politics, because of I'm being a gay, because of I'm I'm come from the third country. So I don't like that. I don't like that, so that's the one reason, I would like to explore myself, who I really am. So this photo project is I'm trying to escape from that or the label that what people expect from me. So so this is my not a first quality project, but when the coup happened, you know, like we all the citizens became rebellions. You know, we resist. You know, like all the artists, not only the artists, all the like citizens, they do something, you know, to have each other, to resist each other. So like it's not about our ego, you know, we have a collective dream, like we have a collective like a movement, you know. It's not about art, you know, it's about, you know, like a common goal. So that is the that is what we are learning. That is also I'm learning, because sometimes, you know, it's so I'm still learning how to share your like a space, your space, you know, like to work together with other people. So one of the, it's not the good thing, but one of the good thing is like during the coup, now we are doing not only a personal project, but also like a collective project. So I'm also like I'm really love to work with the people. So like this library is in English is like the add all the tenant, that will be the like. So that in this is the very similar meaning with Myanmar. This library came from the very famous song to encourage the revolution. So this song used in 1988 as well. We have a 1980 revolution. So we lost in 1988 revolution. So that's why what's happening in Myanmar is we still have to fight the same, you know, history is repeating the same. So this library is very, very famous at the time, like encourage the people in that revolution. So by using that lyrics again in this revolution, so like we would like to bridge the history. We would like to show that the history is not finished. The process is not finished. Also, this is a kind of very metaphor of the history. So like I project on the people. So like we did this 100 project because we would like to encourage the people a positive energy. You know, on the Facebook, you know, at the time, you know, you saw a lot of people are dying. You know, all the bad news are separating on the Facebook. So now we just get like, okay, we would like to win this revolution. So we need positive energy. We need some encouragement. So like that's the reason, you know, we are doing this project. So we only use the positive energy. We only use the a positive message, you know, through the projection. So like this is a very famous like a lyrics from the song. So like we hope that, you know, people got some positive energy through this lyrics. So yeah. So like I used to go out. I used to go out for the protest once. You know, in March 27, I was detained. Like I have to go. I have to go through like a 3-day interrogation. So after I released like a 4 day, I was released, and then like I discussed with my friend, you know, that they are so worried about my security. So like she suggests, okay, you should not stay at home. You know, you should find some safe space, you know, for your safety. So and then like I agree, and then I didn't realize that, you know, like my perspective and my energy is changing during the interrogation process. I was, now I'm different, you know, like before I was detained, I was so like I'm so brave, you know, like I go outside and I shoot everything, you know, I'm, you know, like I can, you know, I participate in a lot of protests, and you know, I can shoot a lot of things, you know, without afraid. But I realized that when I release, my energy is changed. Like everybody is so worried about my security, and like they keep asking me whatever, they talk to me, whatever they use my hour, whatever, they would like to invite the event, like, Nora, like, would you like to cover your face for your security? You would like to wear your mask for your security? And then they would like to blot my face for my security. And then I myself realized that, that is how we lost. That is finally, we have to accept that is how we lost our identity. That is the moment, we need to hide who you are, so because of the security, we are not safe anymore. We lost it. We cannot explain who we are, So when I start as an artist, sometimes we promote ourselves. Okay, we would like to we promote our identity. We like this identity. We choose to be this person because we love to be that one. Now during this coup, and then at that moment I realized that, and then most of our accept now we lost it. We lost our identity. We lost our freedom of expression. So and then I got that experience. This is I moved but last month, until last month I moved different place for my security. But that feeling is so funny. Wherever you go, there's no safe at all, but you can arrange your safety, but your inner is not safe anymore. So I'm moving around different places, and then I feel funny, oh my, yeah, whatever I go is not safe. So it doesn't make any sense, I'm going house to house for my security. So this is one of my when I was released, almost 1 week, I have to be in the house because of to stable myself, and so and then I got a lot of pressure, and then I realized my emotion. So this project came from that feeling. So and then I don't someone already asked me, Nora, you would like to cover your face for your security? I don't like that at all. But somehow, for some reason I have to do that. You don't need to take the unnecessary risks. So and then I keep doing that project. I on my Facebook I used to post I shoot the photo, and I cover the face, and then I'm wondering how is the feeling look like. So this is my the early time of the coup. There's no risk at all. So I put some of the photo, very close up photo of the police and soldier. So and then I choose this one, and because I'm questioning my identity, and I feel like as a citizen you lost it. You lost your identity, and you lost your freedom of expression. So I'm just wondering how is they look like. They don't even have a freedom of expression, or I'm wondering about them. How is their situation? How what they are thinking. Do they even know the identity, or do they, because if you don't know what is in 2010 to 2020, 10 years, we got as a citizen we got a chance to enjoy the enjoy the expression, enjoy you travel, the whole world. You can travel, you got a chance to travel. So as a citizen we know that what it look like being freely you express yourself, and the feeling of freedom. But it's so obvious, when the coup happened, everything is blocked now. So internal physically, and also emotionally, you block. So for me, I know what I want. I know what I want. I want that freedom back. I want that situation back. So, but I was wondering about that. How is their life? Do they know about the freedom? Do they have a experience or expression? Do they have a experience or identity, or So if they don't know, it's so crazy being the soldier and being the police is.
Nora,
Yeah.
please wrap up
Sorry.
your time. Can you
Oh,
please
okay.
wrap up?
Okay. So I'm keep do wherever I go, I shoot the photo, and like I'm cover the face. It got a very like a recent feeling. So now, like, this is my family photo. Now we are stay at a different place, like in terms of security, and also what's happening in now. So like now it's difficult to live together. So this is my old photo of the second day of the protest. So now you can check the photo of the on the Facebook, all the media cover the a protester face for security. That is how you lost it, you lost during the 3 months. This is not Myanmar, but so I got the same feeling. So now most we are I'm focusing together with my friend. We are doing for resistance. So this is another campaign about the fallen hero. So we would like to plant a tree for each fallen hero, not to forget what they did now in this situation, in this Spring Revolution. So now I feel like I'm going to the unknown journey. So for sure we would like to win. So we don't know how, especially I don't know how. So like my life is so unknown. Everything is unknown. So when I talk about with my friend, we know that we know that what is the freedom. We know that what is the expression, because we got that experience during 10 years. But I still don't know what is justice, what is equality, because I grow up with injustice. I live with inequality. So now we are fighting for together democracy, but I don't know what is the look like justice, what is the look like equality. So that's that in the future I will explore these two things, what it will be look like without knowing what is justice, without knowing what is equality. So that is my next project. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nora.
I will start share, right?
Yeah, you can still share, and then I will tell you. Is
Okay.
there any immediate question for Nora from anyone? If there is no immediate question, I will go on to the next speaker.
Okay.
We can discuss later. So now we have Dominique from Zurich, early in the morning, and she will discuss about her wide-reaching practices as an artist, as an educator with the Zurich University of the Art. She is very often in Hong Kong and Indonesia, that's what I know. So she will share with us her practices. Dominic, you are on. Please share your documentation.
Thank you, Jay. Just a second. So I think you see it now, right?
Yes, we seeing it.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Dominique. Thank you, Jay, for organizing this webinar, and thank you for having me. And also a big warm thank you to all my colleagues presenting here. I really find it really interesting to get to know more about your projects or have further insights into the ones I already knew. And I'm really looking forward to our discussions. I would like to present our latest project, Mapping Culture. It focuses on the Limmat Valley, a region west of Zurich. Here you have an image. It's in Switzerland. And I'll begin by introducing first Vorflux, then I move on to outlining the project, Mapping Kultur, and I will be ending by sharing some thoughts on the universal basic income. So all of this, I'll be doing that within 15 minutes. Therefore, I will connect loosely some dots, associative, and fit some information into a nutshell. Here you see, this is not for reading everything, it's just to show you we have 3 different websites in our Vorflux activities. In the middle, it's Vorflux. Vorflux is an independent research venture. I run it together with Annemarie Bucher, and we focus on recent changes in the arts taking place in global settings. I will say more about the term global in a minute. We have also Art and Society Net as a web page. There we document interviews and exchanges from colleagues to gain a better understanding of these changes of the arts in the global settings. We have collaborated with colleagues in Malawi and South Africa, and with colleagues in Hong Kong, Indonesia, India, and Bhutan. And Irene, a big warm thank you again to you and Lai Chongfong that I could stay several times at Wufoteng. And I really learned a lot through our conversations, also with other artists like Him Lo and many others in Hong Kong. So I owe a lot to many colleagues that we could exchange on socially engaged arts. In our Vorflux research, we are interested in such questions as how do our pluriperspective art worlds and their exponentially increasing complexities and interconnectedness affect art. We also started a new limited company, Maya Vision, and the applied projects coming out of our Vorflux research, they are coordinated by Maya. Maya stands for Methods of Art in Action. And the project I would like to introduce to you now, Mapping Kultur, it's also coordinated by Maya. So we conduct practice-based and practice-led research. We are often using arts-based methods. On this slide, you see some impressions of past projects. The image on the top left shows a painting session with kids. On the top right, you see my studio and colleagues from Switzerland, Iran, and Bhutan. And we were producing together art books containing contemporary and traditional Buddhist images. And on the bottom left, you see an arrangement of flowers and stones that we created with kids and colleagues in Malawi. And on the bottom right shows a performative wall painting in Bangalore, India, at the Srishti School of Art Design and Technology. So we conduct practice-based and practice-led research and activities using the terms as defined by Linda Candy. She says practice-based, that's the creative artifact, is the basis of the contribution to knowledge. And practice-led means the research leads primarily to new understandings about practice. So I think we probably all have this understanding that art is locally rooted. It's rooted in local settings. So we have art everywhere, worldwide, but it corresponds with the local settings. I'm using the term global. Global merges global and local. And Roland Robertson, a sociologist, brought this term into sociological discussion in the early 1990s. The term emerged in Japan in the 1980s. Japanese multinational corporations thought to increase their sales by adapting mass-produced products, such as cars, and to suit them to local conditions. A local car is a universal vehicle featuring local adaptations. Robertson applied the term to draw attention to the fact that without the production and inclusion of locality, there is no globalization. Therefore, we should always keep such interrelations in mind. Thus, the theory of globalization focuses on the relational tensions, relationships, and intertwined dynamics of global and local dispositions and processes. And I think this is also a topic that I would like to talk with you then later about in our discussions. What does that mean with our art initiatives in our local settings and exchanging on it? Rather than contrasting the global and the local, the concept of globalization suggests that to understand processes of change in our increasingly globalized world, we need to focus on the relational dynamics between the local and the global. Art in the everyday, or art in action, working with art in social cultural settings, is one of the rapidly expanding tendencies which we can observe worldwide. This phenomenon poses challenges to research perspectives. Pluriperspectivity especially challenges existing art discourse. In a recent project that I just finished, I propose a form of research through and on art in action that builds on new methodology. But today I won't go any further into this. I would like to present today the project mapping Kultur. Allow me to provide some more information about the name of the project. Mapping refers to gathering information on a particular topic. In our case, we map the social innovative cultural production of the Limmat Valley. And Kultur is combining two words. It's Kultur, meaning culture, and Tour, meaning excursion. In that sense, it's a cultural excursion. And the specific use of lowercase and capitalized letters also reveals another world, cult or cult. The project aims to connect culture workers, map the social innovative projects that exist in the Limmat Valley, and support dialogue about new practices and societal exchanges. We conceived this project for the so-called Regionale 2025. The Regionale 2025, it's a regional project show. And as its name indicates, it will take place in 2025. Yet several projects are at work on various themes already. The Regional 2025 aims to promote the Limmat Valley and encourages further development there. It promotes the economy, products, and culture of the region. Exhibition, shows, events, and other activities are planned for 2025. The Limmat Valley is in Switzerland, in the Swiss lowlands. It runs along a river which emerges from Lake Zurich. The valley is about 25 kilometers long and it's densely populated. It consists of 16 municipalities, that is 10 villages and 6 cities. In Switzerland, any community of over 10,000 people is considered a city. For example, Dietikon, a city with 28,000 inhabitants. In Dietikon, people from 74 nations live there. So the Swiss population makes up around 50% of people with a permanent residence in Dietikon. In comparison, in Switzerland as a whole, the Swiss population is about 75% of all permanent residents. I myself, I live in Zurich, right next to the river Limmat. Every morning when I drink my coffee, I start the day looking at the water as it flows by. The project will run till 2025. It started 2019 it was inspired by the culture attaché of the city of Dietikon, who observed a lack of visibility and connection between cultural workers and artists. So Flux then conceptualized how to meet that need and added the focus of social innovative projects. By social innovative project, we mean new practices that tackle challenges in our societies. We submitted a project at the end of 2019, and in 2020, we adjusted and further developed the project details in close exchange with the regional or the Regionale 2025 secretary. We are now fundraising, while at the same time beginning the first phase of the project. The official start of the project is this autumn, and it will end in 2025. Irene, when you were presenting before, you said your project is not about innovation, but to move forward. So I think that's how we understand social innovative projects. It's about to move forward, and we're not using a top-down definition of the term. We ask everyone to come up and say, well, what I do, this is moving forward. This is social innovative. So we came up with 4 sub-projects: online, news, dialogue, and Inno. Online, we are creating an online community. For this, we will use a Clio app. This app has been developed by an artist colleague, also based in Zurich, and provides artists with archival, portfolio, and networking possibilities. New to the app are its community features, which we are using to connect cultural workers and artists. Everyone working and living in the Limmat Valley can create a profile free of charge and to show what they do. The sub-project news tackles the problem of different agendas in different cities. They're not well connected, so the scene is fragmented. We will not replace any existing newsletters or agendas, but we will all make them accessible to this online community. We plan that online and news will be established by the end of this year, and then we'll focus making the community popular so that most cultural workers will be part of the network by 2025. With dialogue and Inno, we promote socially innovative projects. During our project phase, latest by 2025, we will hand over all the sub-projects to other owners, local owners, and thus guarantee that what we are building will continue on. Here on this side, you see an online call. The assumption that informs mapping culture is that not only are cultural workers not well connected, but there is also an incredible number of innovative activities taking place, of which we have too little awareness. So if I say to colleagues, we are working on social innovative project in a region, they all say, is there any? And then when you start looking, it's incredible how much is happening. So this is our main concern. We want to show what already exists. We want to connect, and we want to start awareness and dialogue on how various initiatives are moving forward to a future they believe they want to build, they want to have, they want to live in. So we believe to strengthen social innovative activities, we must value and create visibility for activities that already exist. and promote more dialogue about where we wish to go in our future and what kind of living environments we wish to have. How do we find existing social innovative projects? We've put out a call, which we are currently placing in various newsletters, news from regional art associations, for example, or information from the cities. We are also using mouth-to-mouth communication. Yeah, I just would like to show you 4 examples of social innovative projects that already are now documented on the webpage Art and Society. We use this one till the new online community is established in autumn. So here are some of the projects. For example, on the top right, Grassrooted, they are experimenting with alternatives to supermarket. Then on the top left, Andres Borsart, he's experimenting, making us aware of how we hear noise, how we don't hear what we don't want to hear. We have on the top bottom the Swiss Children Museum. They send out solar technology kits every year to families who then build their own cars and organize a car race. So this is making aware of energy production and a sustainable future. And another example is Acteria. They run workshops worldwide. They are interested in hacking, in biohacking, in coming up through experimental work with solutions and ideas for our living environments. They now just opened up a new lab here in Zurich where everybody can join in and meet and produce their work. So these are the 4 of many examples. I've choose this one also to show you because I think farming is one of the discussions or one of the activities that is also really widely spreading all over the world. We have, for example, Orto Loco. They organize a collective, a cooperative, where you become a member, you pay something, and you work several days on the farm, and together you produce the food that you need for you every day. I would like to draw attention to Benny Chan's film, The Raging Land. He also documented several such initiatives in Hong Kong, Japan, and Taiwan. So this is another topic that I'm very much interested to exchange with you all. We have the same tools, the same art-based methods, and also other strategies worldwide. We have completely different local settings. And what can we learn from each other? How can we bring our knowledge together so that we can all move forward in a better way? So when we want to collect around 100 such initiatives by autumn. We will go on. We want finally to hopefully document all of the projects. And when we have around 100 projects, hopefully this autumn, we will then start to collaborate with several youth groups in the region. As a first step, we will train a team of about 4 to 8 young people. They will learn how to teach others to make short video portraits with their own mobile phones. And after that, they will pass on their knowledge to other young people. What you see now in the slide is from another project, but also with youth reporters. They interviewed the Swiss artist Hans-Walter Graf, who's well known for his extensive and creative work with young kids. He also lives in Switzerland. So what are our main challenges? Plainly put, some artists are scared that being put into the same frame as cultural workers could possibly devalue their work. But there are artists that do not care, and we can go forward in an inclusive way and leave the doors open for others to join whenever they are ready. that brings me to the topics that the Asia-Europe Foundation asked us to address. The role of and value of the arts in a time of crisis, the arts in crisis, international collaboration in the new normal, art and well-being. I thought I make a short mapping of where I stand in connection to these questions. Concerning the role and value of the arts in time of crisis, there are several crises, no? And I believe the role and value of the arts to challenge our societal challenges is well documented, even though the critique has been made that research has not yet proven the effects of art-based methods. They are used widely and more. Arts-based methods are known, among others, to trigger things, to be used to evoke and exchange empathy, to provide relief, elicit multiple meanings, to promote community building, support dialogue, provoke responses, among many other things. When we come to arts in crisis, I mean, we could think about arts in crisis now in this COVID-19 situation. I will come back to that at the end of my talk. But much has been said also about art in general being in crisis. But there I suggest that we distinguish between art discourse and art practice. Our theory is in crisis. Art historical assumptions have problems with the pluriperspective dispositions of our world. Their assumptions often do not correspond with the roots of global art, with art being globally anchored. In contrast, art practice is flourishing. I think the projects you have been presenting have demonstrated this. If we come to art and well-being, art is a powerful driver for change. Artists working in social cultural settings are also experienced with bottom-up strategies, which guarantees sustainable development, and their work is context sensitive, corresponds to the particular setting it takes place in. So concerning the question of international collaborations, and this is the setting we are in here now, we are using the same tools worldwide. More and more people are using art-based methods to change their living environments. However, global settings are particular. How does this affect practice-relevant exchange on art in action? How can we learn from others' experiences when our environments are so different? This is one of the questions that I would be very happy to discuss with you all. And I'm now moving on to the last part of the this presentation. You know, with Mapping Kultur, we want to show all the cultural activities that are from different initiatives taking place to move forward with our challenges, to tackle challenges in our societies. So, and as I said, artists are scared that this would devalue their work. And yes, I mean, it could be that we destabilize border of what is art, what is not art. Irene, you've also been talking about this, others of you as well, about how what is seen, but does it matter? If we look from a disciplinary perspective from the arts, of course, then the disciplinary perspective is interested to work along the line of its own methods and criteria. But if we look at and take at the center stage the challenges in the society, then all these frontiers, they don't matter. But what does that then mean for being able to sustain your living, being able as an artist to work and gain money for what one does? This is not the only problem that we're facing. That's why I've posted this one here. It's from The Guardian. There are some who say that through the robot revolution, we will lose worldwide about 40% of the jobs that we have now. And now already through the COVID-19 crisis, which was posted here, to newspaper clips. It could be any other one. I just wanted to show, for example, the one on the International Labour Organization talks about already 81 million jobs are lost because of the COVID-19 situation in the Asia-Pacific labour markets. There are also millions lost in Europe and in the United States, South America and Africa, everywhere. So I guess this dynamic that anyway to be coming now already accelerated through this COVID-19 situation. So we have a problem. How do we deal with this? And lately, for the recent few years, this idea of the basic universal income is discussed in many different discourse spheres. Here, a screenshot from UNESCO. They posted that in 2017 and asked, can the universal basic income solve global inequalities? The idea of the universal basic income is quite simple. The idea, it's every legal resident in a country receives a monthly stipend sufficient to live above the poverty line. Let's call this the no-frills, culturally respectable standard of life. I'm reading from the code that you also see on your screen. The grant is unconditional on the performance of any labor or other form of contribution, and it is universal. Everyone receives the grant, rich and poor alike. Grants go to individuals, not families. Parents are the custodians of underage children's grants, which may be smaller than the grants of adults. It's actually quite interesting when one starts to look into this topic where already experiments took place. So I didn't know before I researched it that, for example, Iran has a universal basic income, Alaska as well. And experiments with the universal basic income have been taking place all over the world already. So all these dots show where universal basic income experiments took place. There are now, because of the COVID situation, several countries or cities who try to experiment with it even further by involving artists into this experiment. So artists who don't earn any money at the moment to try to see what happens if a universal basic income is contributed to them. In Zurich, this was the, which one, sorry, for this slide. We voted a few years ago whether we want a universal income in Switzerland. It didn't get approved, but now in Zurich there was a petition and enough signatures got together. So what we do here is we will, the city will come up with a universal basic income experiment, and it will be researched by the university, what happens and what is possible. The idea is very simple of what it wants to achieve, but the big questions are how does it work and what are the effects. So by this, I've finished my talk. I hope I could give you some insights into the Mapping Culture project. So actually, we are artists. We also do our practice-based work. This project, Mapping Culture, we more coordinators, making visible, and then together with the youth groups, organize video portraits, which we will again use to bring the message to a wider public. And then we will move on with further activities, which we will decide about in 2 years' time, what exactly these will be based on what comes up. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to Jay again.
Thank you, Dominique. Is it okay if I move to Zurich and get the income also?
You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Oh, you mean anyone can go there and register as a resident? Of course, only for Swiss citizens.
Actually, at the moment, it's who is surprised? Not possible. It's not the whole city. It's let's see if I go back to the, does it say how many? A group of people will be selected. So it's not everyone in Zurich. It's like an experiment. How does it work? And I don't know if it's 500 people or something. They select a group of people who will, over a certain amount of time, become that university income, and it's monitored by the university. And then, evaluation and discussion, and maybe it will be introduced. We'll see.
Okay.
But I mean, the basic idea is there's enough money worldwide for all of us to survive. The question is, how does it get where it's needed?
Yes, this issue was actually discussed in Germany over maybe 10-15 years ago, because in Germany, when you look at the institutional expense of managing the unemployment money, managing the social welfare money, if you give everybody the same amount of money, it's the same. You don't lose any money at all, because the institutions take up so much money in managing this unemployment, social welfare, and all that. So it's actually no-brainer, but still, it did not get the agreement of everyone. So that's a big problem, because the funding or the budget to manage all that is so big. All this institutional control. So, is there any immediate question to Dominic before we open up the floor? Any question? So maybe how we are, as an artist, the practice is always normally centered around our own dimension, our area of expertise, and also our area of activities. But how do we really move forward and all that? So, Dominic, when you do these activities with many stakeholders, you have to negotiate with many different people in order to get this project of yours going. So, how much time and duration do you have to invest before someone really participate in this project? Can you please tell us?
I think we all know, connecting with people, trying to do something, it's always a lot of dialogue and discussions. Actually, but now, for example, with the youth, connecting with youth groups, this is, there's a lot of interest. So there are all these social workers and other people engaged with youth. They're very interested, and they also have a good dynamic. They don't go top down. So I share with them what I want to do. They're interested. They go to their youth groups. They see what they want, what they expect, how they're interested. And so it's a slow step forward, slowly communicating and bringing people together. The biggest problem are artists who work in the established art groups, because they still very much have, you know, in the contemporary art understanding still very active in Switzerland, the interventionist approach is well accepted. As an artist, you go into the field, you bring it there, but the main aim is your artwork. It's not I mean, you want to bring change, but it's only a claimed work if the end product is artworks and the whole approach is artwork centered. So this is something that I think we have to refrain from. There can be artworks, and artworks can play several roles in various disciplinary fields. But when we work with art in social settings, I think the end goal is the changes in that particular local setting. So there I go step by step. I try to make visible what we do and leave it open for everyone to join at various stages. I don't know, did I answer your question, Jay, with that? Your question, sorry.
Yeah, I think so. Is this kind of situation where it's always very open and negotiating, and it depends on a lot on reciprocity and all that. There is never a moment where it's concrete. It's always in a transition because you don't know what happened tomorrow. The person may change their mind, and then it's always an ongoing process. So my question is just to try to understand at some point whether we can understand what we are facing for, because I can see from Zurich, Switzerland, you have a lot of resource. Whereas, for example, in Myanmar, it's nothing. And it's not like Hong Kong, they have a Arts Development Council. In Malaysia, again, nothing. We all have to get the resources ourselves to go forward, to move forward. So it's always some understanding in that. That's what you discuss as local, because you work in Indonesia also, and you understand what in Indonesia is again. And also, for example, our participant, our speaker from Malaysia and from Myanmar, they more or less belong not to the dominant group. So in our discussion also later, maybe next week, we can also look at this power relationship. How does the public see them, because they don't belong to the dominant group and they do this kind of activities? And then it's no longer just the artist group working with the target group audience, but they also have to negotiate with the dominant structure for at that moment at their society. Is there any other question?
Yes, I would like to ask. Okay, thank you so much to all three presenters. I found it very interesting to listen to all the presentations, not just today, but also last week. And, you know, it really seems to really draw out the kind of situations that we are all in, no matter how small or big, that we are all trying to find our own way to do things that are possible. You know, and I've lived in Myanmar, so thank you, Nora, for your presentation. You know, perhaps it's very difficult for us to really be able to fully engage with each and every particular case, because each and every practice is so different. But I'm very mindful that the bigger idea here for us to all come together is to think about how to forge resilience and mutual independence. And it's a very admirable and a very important topic, but it's so big. So I really think it's very good that Jay has come up with this 3-session thing. And I hope before the next session, I would send some questions actually to everyone, to try to draw out certain very basic questions that maybe we could all try to answer in order to think how we can help each other to forge resilience. But one thing that, because my own practice with Jay before also has really, we've gone to so many places and we have tried to find out what's possible, to practice. And I'm always very discouraged about the kind of platforms that you can find. So it's basically platforms funding, right? Because we all need that. Like Irene has created her own platform, Khin has created his own platform. It's so encouraging to really listen and to hear about these. But we are making very small kind of impact also, with our individual platforms that we create. But we should not be discouraged at small. But I'm thinking in comparison, like when nations and politicians and governments do it, they can collaborate on such a global level and they can create such massive platforms, that we as public art practitioners or art for change practitioners, we have not been able to do this, and so I'm very encouraged listening to Dominique, it's like, how do we do this on a more global and local, scale? How do we come together to create these kind of conditions that we can help each other make a bigger impact, So that's just something to tell you that, I've really listened to all of you and I really thank all of you for your presentations, and I'll be writing with my questions, to start next week's discussions. Thank you.
Does anyone want to say something to that before we go on to our next question? Our next question comes from Khin. He's asking Dominique whether flow, flux, or Maya have any methods to give to response to international affair incident. For example, responding to the issue, the civil war now happening in Myanmar, or the recent one in Hong Kong that come out from 2019, and then now the national security law. Yeah, Dominique, hard question for you.
Yeah, actually, maybe can I share? Let me open a web page. But it hasn't got a very attractive big picture. But let me show you just here, this one. So that's actually one project that we do at the moment. It's together with Susie Law, district politician in Hong Kong. Irene, is it district or how do you call it?
District.
Yeah.
District councillor.
Okay. So we have some books that we received from Hong Kong, and I mean, actually, Kong, yes, I'm very open to all your suggestions on what we can do. So this is my first response. Please let us know what you think is worthwhile and how we can raise questions and how we can contribute. So one is keeping the topics of Hong Kong and publications that published social issues, democratic issues, issues of perspectives and views of what is happening. And we want to slowly spread the word through including many people here in our local situation in Zurich. So we will ask people to read the book, to come up with a short statement, what they think about the book. It can be very personal or it can be more in summarizing. And then we will invite someone from Hong Kong to correspond what the person has been saying about the book. So it's through reading together and discussing these topics that we would like to create awareness on what is going on. And as I said, I'm very happy for any other ideas that you have. What we don't have is money. We, like Irene, we always subsidize. So I'm teaching at university, and with the money I earn, I subsidize the work that I do in Flux. But when we can come in with our personal labor, or sometimes it's also possible project related to go for fundraising, as I've been saying with Map Tour. So I'm all yours. Please share your ideas with me, how we can contribute.
Thank you, Dominique. Actually, I don't have any suggestions. I just raise the questions. And we are talking about international connection, but there's nothing we can do to show solidarity with our friends from Myanmar. Yeah, it just feel very helpless.
Yeah, about the situation in Myanmar, most artists will just do a work in their own country to bring attention to what happened in Myanmar. That's the most common thing they do. But those who have connection, wherever we have the chance, we do something with the Myanmar artists we know inside Myanmar, and then through them also we make some donation to help with the immediate issue that deal with food and all that. So that is the next level. Of course, if you are young, not like me, I'm quite old. If you want to have exciting adventure, you can go to the border of Thailand and go inside Myanmar. There's many way I know because I have many friends. I have many friends who been passing through this border in the last 20 years. When one went to Hong Kong to study journalism, one just stay in Thailand and wait for his visa to go to America. So there's many ways. If you are adventurous, you can get inside Myanmar and also help to fight. So those are the radical thing, because if you don't understand the language, then it's a bit difficult for you. But there are many ways, but just focusing on the issue in Myanmar and doing it outside your country is very good enough. I think that's the first step. That the small gesture that you can do, like Kang, you can hang. You have a lot of front space in your place. People pass your place a lot. You can hang some poster there and all that. But I think we can all find small gesture or to collaborate. Like I thought I discussed with you, I'm trying to ask some of the young Vietnamese artists that I know, that I work with, I come into contact with in the last few years, to see whether they can come to you in Johor, in Malaysia, to work with your project with the Vietnamese woman. Because here, I'm very interested to see when someone who speaks their mother tongue, as your project has to deal with a different level of languages, the dominant language of the country, the society, the dominant language of the family the Vietnamese women are married into, and then how they deal with the dominant structure. These are the things that I find very interesting to work in your project. And I also think if we find the right person, we can get some small funding to cover the transport and all that. But I think we are just waiting for opportunity. Like in Hong Kong, we are waiting for some news from the Arts Council to see whether they will accept the next application from Irene to do a public art project. If she is successful in that, then I also will be able to go to Hong Kong again since 2019. So I think we are very resourceful to find this way. This what artists are known for, because they have no money, so they have to be resourceful. And now I'm connecting to non-Western philosophy is that we have to deal with uncertainty. We cannot be just comfortable with certainty. And this uncertainty actually make us very resourceful, because nobody know what happened next month and next year. We just planning and organizing and see if it works, okay. If it doesn't work, we create new strategy to go forward, to move forward, to make some meaning in what we do. So it's the same as what now I can see flower. I think if because I want to discuss with Flower about her her issue on corruption. Because in Malaysia, as you know, Kang, we have the Bersih movement. The Bersih movement bring 1-2 million people on the streets in Malaysia, and it has somehow led to a change of government. A government that was established over 62 years in Malaysia. The Bersih movement, Bersih is the Malay word for being clean. So it's about corruption. Malaysia is famous for its corruption. And the Bersih movement, through its demonstration, bring about some changes in that. And they actually work with everyone. They work with all the NGO, they work with artists, they work with activists to bring this movement into real world action. So whether in Mongolia, can all the different groups, the youth worker, the NGOs that appear in Seka video, can they work together and motivate the people to go, 1 million people? There will be nearly 50% of the population of Ulaanbaatar on the street. Okay, yes, Julian, what?
Actually, there's a question that Dominique has asked, and I also wanted to ask Nora, because yes, how, from your position of being, inside Myanmar, how do you think the rest of us can best support what is happening inside?
Yeah, that I got this question a lot of time, and then and then also I don't know. Because one thing is for sure is being with us is we need really emotional support, because all the time we are up and down, up and down. And sometimes during one day, sometimes you feel you feel useless, because like you mentioned, we don't have the power, you feel useless and emotional is up and down, but we still can resist because of because of friends like and sometimes we feel safe and secure. We feel we got the energy from behind us there's a friend who really would like to support. So I really appreciate your your concern. Before I'm not sure about, I care about the other country. So when what's happening in Myanmar, that I realized that, oh my God, someone need support. Someone need care. So thank you, Calm, and thank you everyone, who really concerned with your full or heart, you have that's deeply concerned. So at personal level, I'm really appreciating, I feel like not alone, I'm supported, no? There's an emotional level. Other thing is I think another way is participating in the campaign. We are doing campaign is like you mentioned, Dom, when you mentioned, I really like it. art in the crisis. Where's the art in the crisis? Like, so now we are using art as a healing tool. We are doing the campaign because we would like to heal ourselves as well. So like participating in the campaign is one of the way to support us. Yeah. So like I don't know about other people, but for me, like like by participating in the campaign, like we feel like, oh yeah, people hear our voice. There's someone know that voice, like someone hear our voice, so like I feel supported. Yeah. Am I answering the questions?
Since the 1st of February, we've really been watching very closely what's happening in Myanmar. And I think, what we really want to tell our Myanmar friends also is that we stand with you and we are watching, because, quite a lot of the Myanmar people that I know, some of them, they think that the world is not watching, but the world is really watching, I mean, now, it's just that sometimes we feel helpless what we can do, because a lot of us live in countries where our own governments are dysfunctional. So putting pressure on our own governments is not something that will work, So we are trying to send resources into Myanmar individually through friends that we know there, but it's like, and then also, of course, voicing concerns on social media and all that. But sometimes I feel quite discouraged because there's just so much on social media, and I don't know how much that helps us on an everyday level. Being able to get on with our day and feel energized, and so sometimes I don't look so much at social media. Yeah.
Sometimes like for me, like I'm still confusing my role in the society because of the I choose to be artist. Like early day I shoot documentary because like I participating as a documentary filmmaker, but now we are having it in civil war, So the only solution is to get a gun and then to fight back. So that's a very practical solution. So like sometimes I lost it, like am I affected or not or something like that. So it's so difficult to ask there. But one thing for sure, like this what's happening in Myanmar will finish one day. So maybe there will after that there will be also we need a lot of healing and a lot of emotional support that like we need a lot of community work, like the art project in there. We need to do a lot because we have to heal the society through the art. Art is the safe space to do something. So that's what I am thinking. Now it's a little bit difficult to do the participatory, but when we finish, we can do a lot of like a community-based art project. Yeah, we can share a lot. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any more? Anyone have a question? Yeah, we will be sending some questions to you for further discussion. Kang, you are going on a lockdown on Tuesday, right? Kang,
Yes.
your total highest
From
level
1st of
lockdown is on Tuesday.
From 1st of June until 14th of June.
Have you done your shopping?
No, because the supermarket grocery store is still opening. Yeah, still open. Yeah.
So no fighting, no line.
For me,
No. Because we hear from our village in Sedang, the market, all the pork are gone. All the porks and even pork skin you cannot buy. You heard?
yeah, there are some people they are very scared of the lockdown, and they are very worried because it's full of uncertainty. But for me, it's okay because I plant many vegetables, so even I can't go out, I still can cook my own veggie.
Yeah, I
And
come,
I have rice, yeah.
yeah, I come again to the issue uncertainty. Don't you think as an artist we have to train or to promote that people deal with uncertainty? Because until now, let's look at the COVID. When the COVID pandemic come, everybody is hoping the vaccine will come, and when you get the vaccine, everything will be okay. But every step, even when you get vaccine, you will still get the COVID. So everything we expect, it never work out properly. It always something will come in between. So actually, if we can deal with the uncertainty, we just don't expect anything that help us to 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 deal with this. So don't you think our art practice have to include this issue of dealing with the uncertainty as a major component?
Yes, I think I should, but I don't know how because I'm also very scared about the COVID-19. There are many because now Malaysia situation is become more and more serious, and I heard many people they are dying, and the ICU is all full. So I think it's correct to we should train how to deal with uncertainty, but I personally I don't know how and what is the good method.
Okay, I think this is a good point that we can all think about for discussion next week. So, is there any more question for any one of you? If not, then I will close this session. Is anyone so no one? Okay, thank you everyone. We officially close today's session, and thank you for all of your participation.
I think
Thank you,
there's a question
Jay.
for me from Dominique, right? The last question. Maybe I just
Oh yeah, there is.
okay. So the criteria is uh we can't go out for only the some we can't go out most of the people, only some people they are working for the essential area they can go out for work. Beside that, we can uh, cross the district, we can all the school is closed down, yeah, so all the normal activities will be stopped. Only the essential area they are still allowed to function. That's it.
So essential means buying food. That's the only thing: buying food and go to the doctor.
Medical, yeah.
Medical. So two things only.
Mm.
Okay. So why they don't just say two things? Why they say essential? Because everyone have their own definition of the essential, right?
Yes, and everybody is waiting for the latest SOP, standard operation procedures, and there are too many uncertainty. Like what you said, how they define essential is it depends on the authority. Some policemen will say this is essential and this is not. So this, I think, this also caused the chaos. Everybody is crazy going to shopping, last minute shopping.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank
If
you,
there's no more
everyone.
questions, huh? Julia?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to discussing next week.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Thank you.